What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Bitcoin Across Borders, South Africa edition. Super excited to get this one going and have Gary with us, who will introduce himself in just a second. And this is the second episode of this. It's really interesting to see on a first-hand take, on a personal basis, how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency differs around the world and how, from a personal experience, how it's affecting certain countries, certain individuals in various parts of the world. And that's exactly why I'm doing this. It's cool content for now, and also, a really good education platform, but also 1 year, 3 years, 5 years down the line, it's going to be really interesting to see where we were and where we've come to, so thinking about the long game and the vision of everything that's going on here and how this pertains to it. So I'll let Gary take over for a little bit and introduce himself, and then we'll get into the questions.
How's it, guys? Yeah, Matt, thank you so much for inviting me here. In fact, you were actually instrumental in me getting into this cryptocurrency world, which was sort of January last year. And you had a couple of YouTube videos, and sincerity that you showed during those videos just drew us to this. And, for that, I'm just most grateful. We've moved into cryptocurrency full time as of October last year, starting in it in, as I said, January last year. And for the last sort of 6-7 months up until now, we've been so excited. I wake up excited about the opportunity that it brings to people around the world. And I often come across people that are just looking for that kind of opportunity. And of course, you also come across people that are so brainwashed by the current system that they are closed-minded. So the kind of programs that you're doing like this, I find is remarkable, because it opens people's minds. It allows them to associate with the people that you interview from around the world, and of course educates them about Bitcoin. So thank you so much for that, Matt. And we 100% support you any way we can. You just have to ask, and we'll be there for you.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate that. It's awesome. I got started with this, July of 2015. So it's been a crazy, interesting ride for me. Obviously all of us are in, business and investing and whatever it may be for money. We all want an income. But at the end of the day, the way I've been able to learn and grow through this industry the last, 2 years has been absolutely huge for now and for the rest of my life. So really cool to hear that, man. Awesome words. So we'll get into it. My first question to kick things off is just how you came to hear about Bitcoin and how you got involved with the crypto space.
All right. At the time, I was running a gym in Umhlanga, Durban, and one of my clients he's a financial advisor, and one day he came into my office and he said to me, Gary, have you heard of Bitcoin? And I said, what? What the hell is that? And that, in fact, was in January 2016. And when he told me about this, I was like, in the beginning, he said, this is this internet money, and he didn't really explain it well. But he told me enough to sort of prick my interest. And at the time, he was promoting another cryptocurrency, a very new one, in the space of January, February 2016, and I got involved in this particular business, and part of their program was education and educating the masses about cryptocurrency. And when I sort of started to understand what it brings to the world and what it can actually do for me as an individual, and how much better it is than money, I got completely hooked on it. Okay, so much so that We eventually closed our gym, and we're now completely full-time earning passive income with Bitcoin. Okay, and I feel it's completely sort of freed me from the burden of staff, overheads, bosses, to the point where I'm sort of in control of my own destiny, and I feel I'm actually doing something really good as a pioneer in this space. So when we heard about Bitcoin in January 2016, I think it was like $380 or $390 for a Bitcoin. And I thought, wow. And, when I was trying to watch the videos, and I think you actually spoke about it as well, where people said it could go to $600, $700, $800. And I thought, what chance? And I mean, we're sitting today where it's well over $1,000 a Bitcoin. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think that's going to be a really common theme of these episodes is what you're saying, the education within this industry. You know what I mean? I talk about it a lot, but the place that we're at right now in the crypto world, in the cryptocurrency world, is very early. Like when the internet was coming around, and there was dial-up internet, and it was really slow. That's that's where we're at the minute, and all this innovation is very exciting. But 10 years, 20 years from now, like, how is this going to change money? Like, how is this going to change the financial industry? And that's exactly what you're saying. And yeah, it's absolutely huge. And in terms of empowering yourself and being your own bank within a decentralized cryptocurrency, especially for different places around the world, is absolutely huge. So yeah, for sure. And I think one of the questions that I'm really like to ask, I'm going to ask this on every single one, is I work with a lot of people from the US and the UK, because that's where I'm from, and I have a lot of contacts. And I do work with people around the world as well. But from a first world standpoint, a lot of people from the US, UK, Canada, they're really trying to get into Bitcoin for an investment or to diversify their portfolio or to make money with on the markets. And then if you look at somebody from, Greece or Portugal, they're looking at Bitcoin as a safe haven to take some of their money out of the system. So in terms of South Africa and your experience, what is unique kind of about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space, which pertains to you and, the individuals around you, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Well, Matt, I think across all borders, I mean, if you have a look at Bitcoin, and, I'll touch more on why, South Africa has grabbed onto it as much, but really it's a store of value, okay? Much greater than that of any fiat currency that you can actually diversify into. It's also portable. So when people travel, it's so much easier to travel with Bitcoin on your phone, and you could exchange it into sort of any currency you like. Okay, it's divisible. So there are 8 decimal points. So you can buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. Okay. What I like about it as well, it's becoming more and more transactional. So there are more and more merchants that are becoming more open-minded about starting to accept Bitcoin, okay, which is sort of outside of the banks and the governments, all right? Of course, it's less expensive. So, when people pay with Bitcoin, the merchant is actually saving money, all right, as well. So it's faster, it's less expensive, it removes borders, it's durable. There's so many advantages, and I think more and more people with social media are becoming wise to these advantages and why it is so much better than paper money. Because people are starting to realize, in particular here in South Africa, with the sort of the devaluing rand, that there has to be a better alternative. And if you're not planning for tomorrow, okay, and you're keeping all your sort of assets, all your money in rands, you are setting yourself up for a huge upset. So I think in South Africa as well, it's much the same as all across the world, not quite as much as maybe Greece, but people are starting to get it, okay, and for all these reasons. And they're starting to learn about it, okay, they're starting to be more open to it. And that's all really it takes to introduce it. It's just an open mind.
For sure. And I think that open-mindedness, looking at like first world countries and being privileged to be in a society where the banks and the way the system is structured, you have access to a bank account, you have access to the movement of money globally. But, a lot of countries, I just did an episode on Bolivia and, South Africa and India. A lot of people within these countries don't have access to bank accounts or are not a part of the global system of moving money. How powerful, to me, I absolutely love this space because it is empowering people like we're talking about. So like to just expand on how necessary it is for that transfer of power back to the average person to become part of, the ecosystem of the movement of money. How does that pertain to South Africa as well?
Well, we, I can only speak for myself. I mean, there's a whole economy around cryptocurrency. And when you talk to people who aren't involved in it, they have no idea about this whole economy. I mean, it's the economy of passive income. And, it's developing these sort of online marketers where you can get products paid for very easily at very little cost globally. All right. So you can make available products and services globally, and Bitcoin sort of enables the payment gateway. All right. And it makes it so much more feasible and more efficient for this all to be put together. So within South Africa, I think probably the vast majority of Bitcoin users are keeping it as a store value because they've seen it rise from 0.0001 US cent back in 2009. And there's a sort of move now I've picked up in the last few months towards developing a residual income, towards passive income using Bitcoin. Okay, so I think it's the vast majority are using it to empower themselves, and they're starting to realize that the banks out there aren't doing them any favors, and if they continue to support that structure, they continue to support a structure that's not helping them or helping the world necessarily. We all know about the monetary policies that are devaluing the currencies around the world. Okay, and there's the few that are sucking out the value, and we're all slaves to this. And why continue to support the system? Okay, why not become partially unbanked? All right, and I think that factor that is sort of assisting people to make the decision to make the move across to Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely huge in terms of, one of the main reasons back, in 2009, 2010, 2011, that people saw this Bitcoin economy rising was because of the payment solution, which is very true. And like you're saying, cheaper, efficient, borderless, which is absolutely, a big part of it. But one of the main reasons why the market cap has grown and the price has grown is because people are using it as a safe haven, and that's why, we see a $20 billion dollar market cap is because, countries like China and India and growing South Africa and the US, people see these currency wars going on all over the world. And they're trying to, diversify their assets. You see, when China brings out some big news, or India says, we're going to scrap the 500 rupee, we see this massive influx into Bitcoin, and it's providing this safe haven that a lot of people in the past, would have gone to, gold or silver, but it's so efficient to buy a digital decentralized cryptocurrency that can't be manipulated, that is its own entity. So yeah, man, that's absolutely huge. And in terms of the future, where do you see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency heading in South Africa in terms of, some of the things we've spoken about here?
Matt, you know what? I know a lot of people around the world think that countries in Africa are far behind. But the truth of the matter is we're not, okay? People realize there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins out there, okay? And as the world starts waking up to this, and the sort of greater demand and less supply, already 16 million odd Bitcoins have been mined, and more people wanting to acquire it and wanting to hold onto it as a store of value. It can only do one thing to the price, so I see huge adoption, and I see people getting hooked like I am, all right? And it's happening with friends of mine that have just seen what's happened in my life in the last 6 months, and that are leaving their occupations and they're moving into this full time, okay? So when people start to understand what this brings, they start making educated and informed decisions about their life, and they become ambassadors for Bitcoin. So with that happening around the world, in South Africa, you have more and more people spreading the news. And as more and more people adopt it and spread the news, obviously the demand grows. And this isn't only happening in South Africa, okay? It's happening all over the world. And that is key. So it's sort of we're on a winning streak, okay? And people start to get it, and people are getting excited. And that is, that's not foreign to South Africans. South Africans want to prosper. They're ambitious. And I think those moving into the space are going to prosper. And I mean, I've prospered tremendously since January last year. All right. And as I said, thanks to you, you were involved with that. Yeah. So you were spreading the message then already. All right. So you see how it works. It's sort of a whole networking thing. So yes, South Africa is going to be big, and it's already bigger than most people think.
Which is definitely true. And like, that's the essence of these episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like Bitcoin across borders. And I'll be honest too, you know what I'm saying? Like when I read things, or even I think just of my life experience in history classes and what I've been taught, when you think of South Africa, you do think of, a third world country, and that might be, behind the times, or, I mean, I think a lot of it is prejudice and news and, what you're open to. Like listening to that personal experience, like you're in the trenches, you're teaching people, you're having groove meetings, you're making videos, I mean? And that's the beautiful thing about this, and having that firsthand take on your experience and what South Africa and the people of that country are experiencing in terms of the growth and prosperity. That's absolutely beautiful. And you touch on the supply and demand curve, which is absolutely fundamental to the future of Bitcoin and the scarcity of it. That's why really the dollar and the euro are going to explode because they're printing so much money that the deflation is just absolutely crazy in what's happening. So when people talk about Bitcoin rising in 1 to 3 to 5 years and where the price point is going to be at, it's almost mathematical in the fact of as the demand grows and the supply goes down, the price increases, just like anything. So yeah, that's absolutely awesome. So just to finish off, if people are watching this video, that might be new to the crypto space, or just trying to gauge things out and hopefully come into these videos to see what's going on with Bitcoin in the rest of the world, to try and get some more info. What would be some final words that you would have to say to them?
On the net about Bitcoin, and it's credible information. Okay, so if you do not take our word for it, there are many YouTube channels that are unbiased, and they literally spell it out for you. Okay, so all you need to do is look at the current financial status in the world. Look at the fall of your currency, because it's falling all over the world, and start looking at alternatives. Okay, this is an incredible alternative. And the beauty about this, the more we stand together in this, the more we all profit from it. Okay, we mustn't divide. We must stand together. And guys, when you start to understand what this brings, okay, and you start to understand how we've been brainwashed thinking that banks are necessary when they're not really necessary, you start to understand that that old system, okay, of banking is really a sort of horse and cart system in comparison to automobiles today. Okay, so honestly, I don't earn rands anymore. I can't remember when last I've logged into my banking accounts, because now all I'm using are Bitcoin wallets. Okay, you do not need to actually log into a bank account anymore, and you can live off Bitcoin. So guys, there's a huge opportunity to gain tremendously from this. Okay, I ask you, have an open mind. Okay, just have an open mind. Go and research it. Look at the opportunity in the space that is just growing tremendously. All right. I don't really want to sell it, because it sort of sells itself. And if you've been listening to the sort of main points in this, and we've been watching your channel, Matt, and I don't want to coin a sort of, but it's really, as some people term, a no-brainer. But you just need an open mind. And really, once you've got that, you're going to get hooked like we are, and you're not going to be sorry.
For sure, man. And, it's I talk about it a lot, but it's replacing, the fear of the unknown with just curiosity and having that open mind and looking towards, something different. Like you're saying, the crisis of currencies all around the world, you have to, do something. Even the average person can learn to understand how to protect themselves and not have everything tied to one system. So yeah, absolutely awesome, man. And super thankful that you could come on today, share some experiences, share your wealth of knowledge that you've been gathering over this last year and a half, that's obviously doing great for you, and so many other people. So if there's anything that we've talked about today that you're not quite sure about, one, I have a good amount of videos that will help you understand Bitcoin and the blockchain. Check out my free video course on the blockchain cryptocurrency, and I break it down into simple terms. And also some of the Bitcoin price predictions in the future, and how to break it down. You know, nobody can predict the market, but we can look at trends and patterns on what's going on. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to have Gary's YouTube channel on Facebook popping up as well. You know, so if you are in South Africa or you're anywhere in the world, you know, and this guy's pretty cool. So make sure you give him a friend request, you know, subscribe to his channel. He's got some great content and he's doing some really cool things within this space. So thank you to Gary for coming on. This is Bitcoin Across Borders South Africa edition. Make sure you check out some of the info in the box below, and I'll speak to you soon, and have a great day.
Cheers, guys.